I'm pretty happy with right there. So that's 1/3. There is a whole eye width in between the two eyes. So if the eyes go here, this distance is the same as the others. So what I'm going to do is just nail in just a general shape of an eye, curving up, back down, a little bit of a tear duct, curving in. We don't need to do much detail because we're focusing on proportion, but you can kind of just figure out, you know, put the placement of the eye in there, get them about the right size. Later on you could go and add some details with some eyelashes and such. Maybe get some pupils in there just so they look a little bit more human-like. Hard to know when to stop. Okay, so we're going to have 2 eyes right there so far. To find out the width of the nose, what you're going to want to do is kind of drop down from these tear ducts, and that tells you where the width of the nose is. So we're going to put just a general shape of the nose, so we can start with some parentheses right there. Just a stylized schema for making a nose, if you would, is to also, let me get another post-it note. And there's a nice stylized schema, thinking about like going back to when you were a kid and you rode a bicycle. Remember those bicycle handles that were out on the sides? A lot of times they're going horizontal, and then you have those bike handlebars coming in. And then you'd have, you know, the center post of the bike, and then you'd have your wheel going right here. The fork would go around the wheel. We're going to get that wheel coming through that fork. Coming back around there, we kind of have a unicycle going on. The bicycle seat would be over here. But anyway, if we're looking at these handles and this part right here before the fork of the bike comes, we're going to start to have a nose, and you can kind of put the parentheses kind of around that. So if I take that away, we start to have a nose. So that is a formula or a schema, if you want to steal it, for how to draw a nose. So I can put in those nostrils, curve it down there towards the center point, put in another nostril right there. You can probably see those bike handlebars now. Maybe I'll erase that line just a little bit so it doesn't interfere. And we have a generic sense of a nose going on. All right, you don't want to put those 2 lines straight down the center because it makes it look too boxy. This is going pretty well so far. Mouth line, we said this was the center. If you do a little curve right here, again, I'm just trying to teach you some quick schemas for doing that mouth. Curving it down, we're not going to do a smile today. Give it an upper lip, we have that curve for that upper lip. You can make these up, you can have them full lips, you can have them thinner lips. But maybe shade in that upper lip a bit. And then the lower lip, if you just kind of put a shadow underneath where the lip would be, you'll start to get this dimension of a lip without having to do a whole lot of detail into it. And it just kind of leads into that corner, into that cheek area. So we have a bottom lip there. You can throw in a little bit of shadow for that chin. Just a hint to where that chin would be. You can play around with rounding this out a little bit. And we're starting to have our portrait kind of coming together a little. Let's go up to eyebrows. Eyebrows, we said this is the eyebrow line. Eyebrows start to grow out of that eye socket, so the nose comes up along here. Eyebrows will start growing, and they kind of just grow outward around that eye socket. This one, if that's the bridge of that nose, they're going to grow out sideways a little bit around. You can draw your eyebrows this way. You put a little bit more detail into the ears. Get some cheekbones. Refine the face just a little bit. See what kind of features you want. Right now I'm going to toss in a neck. There's muscles that come right from the back of your skull, right behind your ears. So if you kind of go straight, not straight down, but come out from there, and you can decide how muscular of a person you want. If you want it to be a little less muscular, taper it in and make it a little bit more narrow. I think I went a little bit too wide on this for what I want. And so you can just make it a little bit more narrow there. And then we can start to move on up to the hair. Just want to put a little accent mark in there. Hairline, you don't want to put the hair coming straight out the top here. You want to start to think about how much forehead is there. You know, it's going to come up to about here. You get to decide if you want your person to be a guy or a girl and where that hairline would go. It's going to come kind of in front of the ear a bit. Haven't decided yet what kind of hairstyle we want to go with. Maybe we'll go, I'm changing my mind. We're going to go a little bit of a part on this side. And then maybe we'll swoosh it back around those ears. One thing you don't want to do though is have the hair end right on the top line here, because hair has thickness. All right, so it has mass above that head. So make sure that you increase that. You know, maybe it goes back around the ears. We're going to go with some long hair right here. Maybe get a little bit of flyaways. A little flat spot there. Bring it around. And just kind of coming back here. A few little lines just kind of showing where the hair goes behind. Whoops, that line kind of, that's going a little thick. I think I want to narrow this in a little bit more. And with that, you could consider your proportions pretty much finished. But we're going to do, so we have the nose line, the mouth line, the chin line, the eye line, the eyebrows, and then we're just going to write ears equal eyebrow to nose line. I'm going to put my name here on the top right. And this is what you'll submit and turn in to me, and we're going to check things out. So you can fancy this up. You can put some accessories on the person. You can adjust it, but the main thing is I'm going to be looking for that you are able to find the proportions of the face and you know what the proportions of the face generally are. Now, I must say that no face is following these perfectly. Everybody's face is slightly different. It's just the standard measurement, and everyone deviates from it. Some people have smaller eyes, some people have bigger eyes, some people, you know, one side might be up, the other side might be down. So when you are actually doing a portrait of somebody, you need to really observe and look at that person to see how they are unique. The one thing I did forget to show was, where does the mouth end? How wide is the mouth to be? If you go from the inside here of the iris ends there, and if you go down from that iris on both sides, that's where the mouth is going to generally stop on the far sides. Okay, so with that, I want you to be practicing this. Do a whole version of an entire face. You're making it up. I am not going to be looking at the quality of how you draw the features, but more so the placement of the features to make sure that they're in the right place and that you have each part of these labeled properly. All right, so with that, go ahead and continue drawing. If you finish that one, go ahead and try to do a profile of the face. So instead of looking at the frontal, see if you can flip it and look at the profile of the face and see if you can transfer your knowledge into doing the next challenge. Good luck!